Welcome, chat. Today is a momentous day. This is a momentous occasion, okay? We can't play for too long. I actually don't know how long I can play for, but I have a... my friends and I are going to be playing Stardew Valley tonight. It's one of their first times ever. So I kind of want to be there just to see their reaction to, Stardew Valley. So we're just going to see what, happens. It's our first time playing it. She has no clue what's, going on. I've told her about all of my friends. Because in our friend group, all of us, right? We have like 6 of us who play the game a lot, and like every single one has a partner that they always go for, right? I always go for Shane. I think Shane can be fixed. I think Shane is just a broken. I think Shane is a perfectly fine soul yearning for love in a broken shell, right? Using terms from Road Warden, okay? I think. He's just reaching out to try to get some help, right? And I think it's possible to get him to a place of love and care, and I think it works. I'm basically a fixer. I'm an enabler. I'm an enabler, right? I really enjoy fixing people. not like IRL, but in a game, it's fun, okay? Some people go for Abigail stuff. I told her, I was like, you have to go for Abigail because the meme in my friend group is we have one friend who really likes Abigail. So he always goes for her. So every time we play with him, it's a speed run between all of us to see who can wife up Abigail ASAP. And it's so funny to do because we all know strats that are way faster than him. So somebody marries Abigail before him every single time, and he always gets so annoyed every single time. And then he's like, I guess I have to go Haley. But then another one of us also likes Haley. So and then it's a speed run for Haley after. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, I'm hoping to really show them the way that speedrunning into someone's heart, right? It's a very important skill to now. Today is a very momentous occasion. We're gonna be doing something very important. We're gonna have a bit of a small talk session, but just give me one more. I need to reply to some messages. Sorry. Okay, good. All the replies are done. We're going on a new adventure today. Okay, today is a momentous occasion. This is the first new game. Well, not the first new game. All I do is I start new games on this channel. Okay, if you've been here for a while, you know that finishing a game is the rarest event in this entire stream, right? It's like an SSR gacha, right? You're lucky if you come on a day where I finish any single game, right? I might have to do what Jerma did with Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. It was Breath of the Wild, okay? What Jerma did for Breath of the Wild was one single day, he was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I have a sponsorship later. All I'm going to do is play Breath of the Wild until we finish. It took him 10 hours. He was really late, but it was 10 hours. And he went straight for... He skipped everything. Did the final, Guardian. After months of not playing the game. Months, okay? It was 8 months since he last played it. Then he went straight for Ganon, alright? That's what we're going to have to do for some of these games eventually, right? But today, we start a new game, a new adventure. Today we start Dragon's Dogma. Of course, there's always that, pre-stream segment of talking, which we're in now. But I'm excited to see what this game is about because Dragon's Dogma 2 releases on March 22nd, which is 15 days away. I think we can beat the entire game in 15 days plus all content. I'm pretty sure. I have Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, which, as far as I know, is the definitive edition of the game with all the DLCs and stuff, and it has all the content patches and stuff. As long as the story page hasn't lied to me. If there's an HD remaster or something that I missed out on that was on sale, then maybe I messed up. But I got Dragon's Dogma when it was on sale a long time ago. I just never bothered to play it, which is again, it's that whole idea of oh, a game's on sale for $5. I'll get it, right? Because again, it's cheaper than a Subway sandwich now, and then you just play it at some point. Today we're gonna be talking about an interesting topic that's been on my mind. Okay, this is a topic that's been sort of near and dear to my heart because it's something that's very, very topical in my life in general, right? Now, I'm an uncle to 5 or 6 different people, which is strange. Yeah, wait, it's a full package, and the PC version is sort of HD remaster. This game, perfect. Okay, so good. So we have the best one. Okay, I'll wait. Also, I have ideas for characters for the game, so just bear with me. We're going to roleplay 2 characters that I've had in mind for years. I've had these 2 concepts for characters for a long time, and I think it's time to introduce you, chat, to my OCs. I think it's time to introduce you, chat, to my OCs. But today, I wanted to talk a bit about parenting. This is a very strange topic to like go on to, but I was just thinking about it last night. It was just kind of like stuck in my head, and I was thinking specifically about how we teach people to value certain things, and how and like how some ways of like teaching people how to value certain things are more toxic than like others, right? And I think back to sort of like, both my childhood as well as like my friends' childhoods. And my friends are having kids now, but I have like multiple nieces and like nephews, and I'm very close with like all of them, right? Basically, my siblings are way older than like me. They're like 12 to 15 years older, right? So by the time I was like at like thinking age, which I think like, I'm pretty sure kids don't think until they're maybe like 8 years old. Before then, kids just vibe, right? When you hit 8 years old is when you have your first thought of, wait, I am a conscious human being. I want a Nintendo Switch. And for me, that was around 8. But instead of a Switch, it was a Game Boy Advance. And so all of my nieces and nephews were born when I was like pretty young, actually. So it's like I grew up with them and I grew up taking care of them. And then my friends are having kids, and it's like more of my friends are having kids. Like I just recently found out like even more of my friends are like having kids. And I'm like, oh my god, like everybody's having kids, right? And I think about like how crazy it is, right? Because it's like there are some opinions that people have that kind of strike me as like odd, right? I think I mentioned this like before, but I have a friend who's like very much into the idea of like they want to like it feels like they overcorrected in their life, and they want to overcorrect in like how they teach their kids to value certain lines of like work by basically telling their like kid like office work sucks and you should just go into like trades. And like that statement has been ringing in my head because it's like now that more of my friends are having kids and I see like how we are as like a friend group, right? Because we're not bad people, but it's like we're not perfect people either. I kind of wonder like how do my friends even have the confidence to have children, right? Like I'm over here thinking like I don't even know what to like teach them. Like how do you sort of like drop all of your baggage and your biases to like teach these kids well and like tell them things in a way that doesn't ultimately end up being worse for them, right? Because I think it's important to uplift them and like allow them the opportunity to like grow and do whatever they want without like, how do I say this? Without downplaying something else or like making something else feel even worse, right? Well, that office work versus trades is such a vague statement, you can't take it seriously. Well, that's the thing, right? It's such a vague statement. But for them, like for my friends and for like a lot of the ways that quite a few of my friends want to teach their like kids, they do it in a they want to say it in a particular way. And like we actually like, okay, so basically we have like a parenting corner. We have a parenting corner where all of us are like in it, and we like brainstorm ideas to like try to figure out like, okay, guys, am I a bad person or is this good parenting? Like me and my friend group are very open with each other, right? Like we're very open about like things that we talk about, and we always bounce ideas off of each other. We're surprisingly very open with our feelings, and the group is very balanced in terms of like men and women inside the like group, right? Or just like anybody. Like it's a surprisingly open group. It's like a very diverse open group. There's like people from all different cultures and like stuff like that, and we talk about it. And the way that they said the office work versus trades thing was very, very much along the lines of like office work is like the worst thing ever. Don't do it. You're a pussy if you do it. And you have to be down there getting really gritty, really into the dirt, doing trades, doing something useful in like life. And then I was asking them like, okay, what happens if your kid wants to get into like art, right? Because I'm dealing with that now. One of my nieces is really good at like art. She's insanely good. Another niece of mine is really good at singing because my sister is really good at singing. And so it's like, I'm trying to figure out like, okay, like what happens if they want to do that stuff, right? Like it doesn't have obviously like it doesn't have like a practical value in like life in the sense of like if society collapsed, would they survive? But it's still something that they want to do, and it's your child, right? So is that necessarily wrong? And I understand wanting to have like allow your kid to be successful, but at the same time, it's like success to me isn't really about what you do. It's about how you do it and like how much effort you put into it, right? And so like we were just bouncing like ideas off of each other for like a while last night, even for like months now. One of my friends recently finished his like crib too. He posted a photo of like him standing beside his like crib, And I I replied, "Wow, nice spawn points." Nice spawn points. That is still my best parenting joke yet. Okay, that is I still hold that is my best parenting joke yet. To look at a photo of your friend's crib for their baby and say, "Wow, that's a very nice spawn point." I'm a genius. I'm an actual genius. What's sad is that you only get to use that like once, right? Like after that, every time someone gives like birth, it's a one-time joke. But it gets like stale after the first time. It only really works once, right? If you say it for the second time or the third time, nobody laughs at it anymore, right? Because it's a parenting joke. At that point, they're just too like tired. Technically, the spawn point is the mom, but that might be too tasteless. No. In our friend group, it's not tasteless. My friend describing his pregnant wife, and like she was there, by the way. He was like, "Well, she's the cannon, and I loaded the cannon." And, like all of us were like dying. We have no boundaries when it comes to those like jokes. Cause like again, like I don't know if you guys have seen these like shirts, right? And I know it's weird to talk about like, you know, pregnancy and stuff, but like I'm 28 and all of my friends are having kids and my wife and I don't want kids. So it's like we're in this weird spot where like at some point we're going to be the only childless couple in the entire group. But here, I put the basting in the turkey. I'm the turkey. Shirt. There's like a shirt. Pregnancy. This one. I'm gonna crop out the faces because it's not about the faces. The people's faces don't matter, right? The people's faces don't matter at all, and I don't want to make fun of particular individuals. I just want to show you what it means like to stuff a turkey. Images. Here we go. Save this. Turkey. Turkey. I love turkey. Turkey. Sorry, give me 1 second. Dude, sharing images like live on stream, it's so complicated because you have to like do like a million things. You have to like find the source, save the image, save it somewhere. You can't just copy paste it into OBS directly to like make a direct source into a temporary place. It's a whole thing because it's like made for like, you know, prepared broadcasting versus like on the fly live stuff. I'm stuffed with a little turkey. I made the stuffing, okay? We make variations of this joke all the time, right? All the time. Anytime somebody like mentions in our friend group that they're pregnant, this is the common joke in our friend group is, "Wow, you came with her?" We always say that. We always say that, and I don't know why, because like it's just funny to say it, right? Because you can say it in like any different way that you want, but it doesn't change the reality of the act, right? You can try to mask it as much as you want by saying, "I'm so stuffed with a little turkey," and then, "I made the stuffing." But really, all this, like, what this statement means is, "I'm full of cum and I came in her." That's all it means. It's just, again, you shouldn't do this to like random strangers. Like if your coworker comes up to you and like says like, "I'm pregnant," or "My wife is like pregnant," you shouldn't say, "Wow, you're so full of cummies," right? I do it because my friend group does it, right? Everybody in our friend group just like does it, and it's just really funny, okay? But this is just a very personal anecdote. You shouldn't do that to random strangers. If I was a baby bearer and I said that I was pregnant and my coworker said, "Wow, you're so full of cummies," I would get a restraining order. 100%. You're 32 and enough of a kid yourself. No need for another one. That's how I feel, right? And even the ways that we like talk about, you know, our feelings and like the ideas that we have, I realize like no matter how old you like get, you're still trying to navigate through like life. And very few people are in a place where they've gotten lucky enough to, I think, have some stability. I'm lucky enough to have some level of stability, but it was by sheer luck. It wasn't by, you know, actual effort, right? If it was by actual effort, I think I'd be, you know, a lot better at things, and I think I'd feel more comfortable with this. But then you know, for me and my like friends, like besides me, I don't know anybody else who's been as like lucky, and then everybody's taking like such a huge like gamble. It's a very scary time, right? Again, I'm happy for them. I really hope that it works out for the best for them, and I really hope that it, you know, goes like well. And I'm sure, like, they'll be fine because nobody's a perfect parent from the get-go. And actually, all of my friends are taking classes to be like a better parent. Every single one is going to classes to like learn. But it's just fascinating to sort of see how like how we value a certain like selfish desire to procreate over like the potential of a child's lives, right? It feels like such a gamble to like do it. And no matter how many books you read, no matter how much money you like make, it never really feels secure in today's world, right? So I commend my friends for it, but I'm gonna be the cool uncle. I'm gonna be the cool god uncle who like shows up every once in a while when they have like a whole friend like party. I'm like, yo, you guys like alcohol? And we'll like hang out party, and then as soon as that's like done, I'm like, okay, see ya guys. And then, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just there to hang out with my friends, and then their kids can play in the like kids playroom, which is like, that's how most parties go. Like, if you think back to your childhood, if you've ever had like a family party for you and like other kids, it was always an excuse for the adults to party and drink in the other room because they don't see each other anymore because they're taking care of like you. Be responsible for another human being sounds scary as fuck. Yep, a human being that wouldn't be able to live on their own. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, even somebody who can live on their own, right? I think it's also scary as like heck. Because it's like, imagine, right? This is like any relationship, right? You like tie yourself to them. And it takes a lot of effort to really take care of them. And you need to almost like undo a lot of the mistakes that have happened in your life in order to be able to like manage that relationship as like well, right? Like, I'm married. Right, like my wife and I have been together for almost a decade now. Actually, we've been together for like a long ass time. We're about 3 years away. We're like, well, we're coming up on our like 8 years, I think. Yeah, 8 years. Yeah, in like December. I don't tell her that I said I think. Nobody tell her that I said I think. She's not here right now. She's currently busy. Nobody tell her that I said I think. All right, let's just pretend like that was between us. But yeah, we actually have no real date when we started. We kind of started so organically that like it just kind of like meshed and melded together that we just decided on like a date in December. It's why in December I'm usually like gone for most of that like month. But even like being with my wife, right? I've had to like really undo a lot of the mistakes in my life, undo a lot of the biases in my life, and like learn to be a better person. Right? In a weird way, all these like random parenting books that I've gotten in order to be a better uncle to my nieces and my nephews has ended up being really, really useful even in my relationship with my wife. Not because she's a child, but because it's like, it's the way that these books force you to be very introspective and to sort of like re-examine yourself and sort of like break your own walls down to become a better person. It's a very interesting like style of doing things. It's a thing that I've only really seen in like parenting books that self-help books don't really capture. Like self-help books kind of feel like they I don't know how to explain this. Self-help books feel like they try to like guide you to a certain place. But parenting books feel like they try to like get you to understand yourself, understand, who you are and like what you are, and understand how to break that stuff down, because you're gonna have to do that anyways to like teach your kid things. Because if you tell a child like don't do that, they don't really get the context behind it. There's a lot more to it. You have to explain to them the like context. You have to give them like a whole rundown. It's a very complicated task. I mean, honestly, I don't get how couples do pinpoint a specific date. Or are we back at the cum jokes with that one? Listen, the first time you come in your partner, that's when you guys are official. No. It's just, yeah, I actually agree. My wife and I have that same feeling too of like, in general, it's really hard to pinpoint a specific date, right? Because any relationship is like it's like a slow burn or like a fast burn, but it's never like an instant moment of like, oh yes, we are now official. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that in the movies and like stuff, but even the romance movie shows all this like period of like time where they're basically exclusive and they're basically together. They just haven't made it official on like paper, right? Whereas like, realistically, like nowadays, it's like realistically, when you go through that like process, you're like flirting, you're like talking, you're basically just like looking forward to being with them, and you only want to be with them for a long time. It's just at some point you just say, yeah, we're like good to like go, right? So yeah, my wife and I both agree on that statement. It was why it was hard for us to pinpoint early dates. It's weird too, because again, I've known her since I was 3 years old. Like she's known me since she was like 4, because she's like a year older, right? So for us, it was like when do the lines blur from like going from family friend to being married, right? It's like or to like being in like a relationship, right? Like it was kind of like it was strange how sudden it was, but also how like spread out it was across like multiple like periods of like time. Or I guess everyone meets through Tinder these days, so they just look at the chat log. They just look at the chat log. I mean, even like a normal, well, not like normal. Okay, Tinder relationships are normal, but even like a relationship that like doesn't happen off of like a dating site, chat log is like your like text. So even just your recollection and your memories of like when you met IRL, right? Even then, it's just so hard to like pinpoint, right? I imagine on like Tinder, it must be even harder, because on Tinder, it's like again. You might start off from like a hookup, right? And it's like, okay, well, but like at that point, it's like, well, like after the hookup, if you guys end up being together, it's like, do you consider the like period of time when you were just hooking up? Because like at that point, you were basically exclusive with each other, right? And then you like slowly like move forward, right? Like it's fascinating to sort of see like how people treat relationships as this like mystical on-off switch. And for me, I've always found them to be more of like a slow wave that slowly builds, right? And the wave will ebb and it will flow and it will sort of like collapse down and so on. But there's a force that you can like nurture, and it can like and from that force you can start new waves. It can grow again, or you can just let it rest and just let it completely subside, right? It's a very, I think, apt description of like what a relationship is and what like a long-term relationship takes in terms of like effort. And I think it's very important to sort of like look at it like that, because it's like, again, there is no magical on-off switch. Yeah, true. It doesn't really answer the question. Yeah, right. Like it's still like it'd still be hard to like pinpoint like when exactly. But yeah, just a bunch of things that were on my mind, because more of my friends are getting pregnant. More of my friends have their partners getting pregnant, and again, we have like a giant group where we talk about things all the time about like parenting, about what it means to have kids, and like what it means to be like a parent, and it gets really deep, and these topics stay in my like head. And I have a good song actually for today's segment. So I'm done talking. Yes, I'm done talking. That means we are now going into the Resident Sleeper section. No, I'm kidding. We're leaving the Resident Sleeper section. We're going towards a new adventure. But before that, you know how it is. If I find a song that I really want to show you guys, I'm going to show you guys. Also, I might need to take a shit, so this is a good time for me to go take a shit. So, I leave you with a song that's very topical to today's segment, I think. It's a very good song. It's a very classic song. I don't think I played it on this channel before, but if I have, let me know. I'm keeping track of which songs I played for you, so I'll never play them ever again. Right? If you aren't here to hear these songs live, you never get to hear them ever again, because it doesn't show up in the VODs for copyright reasons. And also, just for context, if you see VODs disappear from Twitch, it's not because I'm trying to funnel you over to YouTube, although maybe I should. It's because I'm realizing that more and more things that we do have copyrighted things that are harder to avoid. I actually may just disable Twitch VODs entirely and just only have them on YouTube, because then I can actually like filter them out and get rid of copyright issues. And also like trim them out and like make sure that the copyright won't slam me, because again the StarCraft custom map one really showed me like I could have been slammed pretty hard on like Twitch as well as on YouTube. It was like a huge warning of like, hey, the owner does not allow you to use this. This is a heavily copyrighted song. Like, you are going to lose your channel and get a copyright strike if you put this up. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll trim it out. So, but yeah, here's the song. Good timing for the jazz music till I die. This is Running on Empty. Review. Interesting. The whole copyright thing is slightly less of an issue on YouTube nowadays. You do lose monetization, but at least you don't get the clap. So for some things, I think. For like most things, yeah. But there are some things where it's like YouTube will like warn you, and they'll say like, hey, you will lose monetization, but also there's a very good chance that you will get copyright struck off of this. Like that was my first time ever getting the like warning, and it was like, okay, no one can view this video. It won't get monetized, and if they happen and like they have a case to like go after you, it does tell you clearly when a song is allowed to be used on like YouTube when the owner allows you to use it. And it's usually for like game songs. Whenever it's like a game OST, it'll almost always say like, "Hey, this song is allowed to be used on YouTube because you're playing it through the context of the game." And like, it's easier than making like a streaming mode only, right? Kind of like Cyberpunk versus like Astro Libre. Astro Libre has a bunch of songs that are fully copyrighted. One of them actually isn't even released on YouTube, so I can't even view the details of the song, but it shows up in the Astro Libre guide in the final fight. But they allow you to use it as long as it's within the context of the game. So it's like nice. But yeah, sorry. I really love the food review show of the. This is Running on Empty. This is a song called "Isn't She Lovely" by Stevie Wonder. Ah, sorry, that was really loud. Sorry. Hear me? That was Stevie Wonder, everyone. And he's very topical for today's segment because I thought it was a very interesting story about his life. So I was diving down deep into sort of like how certain artists make their music, right? No, as you know, I really enjoy music and I really enjoy trying to figure out like how people write this stuff. Stevie Wonder actually started out very, very young. He actually became a chart topper when he was like 11. Okay, so he started out very, very young. He was born blind. Like he had a very difficult life, but he also had a very musically fulfilling life. He started when he was young. He was surrounded by music, and his family really supported him. And it was like, it's fascinating, right? Because tying back into that topic about like what does it mean to be like a parent. You have this person who, has like an inkling of an interest and that was nurtured into it and that was allowed to explore it. And then now he's like, one of the most well-known artists of like all the time. His music still resonates today and still makes you feel things that you wouldn't expect to like feel, right? At the same time, he's also a very interesting case of like what hard work does to a person, because his music originally, like he didn't have these like certain vibes and like notes to it. Like he didn't really use different tools to make it work. There's stories of him where he like goes back to like music school at like 20, 30, 40, right? Because he wants to learn more about how to compose different songs, and he never gives up on this craft. He keeps on trying to get better and better at it, right? And it's such a fascinating sort of like story of like hard work meets like talent meets like genuine passion, love, and like interest. And these topics are complicated, and I think Healthy Gamer GG has a much better video on it. So if you enjoy learning about what is passion and trying to figure out like what it means to be passionate about something and like finding your passions and what it means to like nurture that, I think Healthy Gamer GG has a much better video breaking it down. Plus YouTube says that he is a licensed doctor expert in the US, so I don't have that warning on my videos. I don't have a licensed doctor expert warning on my videos, right? Like all my videos should probably say, warning, this is a clown, this is a jester. Don't believe anything he says, he's just here to have fun, all right? But yeah, it's surprisingly how his story I just thought was surprisingly apt to like the situations that I was thinking about, to the world that I was sort of like entering now as like a person who's like going into this stage of life where a lot of his friends are having kids, or I'm gonna be like a god uncle in like many different ways. And I thought it was just very, very relevant to bring it up that no matter what you do, there's always an opportunity for you, no matter how old you are or no matter how talentless you may feel. The truth is, you always have an opportunity, and as long as you keep at it, and as long as you keep on trying, there's a way forward, right? It's just things just take effort. Life is just hard, you know what I mean? I hate working. That's a feeling thing. Tweets not financial advice energy. Yeah, basically, yeah. This is not financial advice. I am not a lawyer, but you should listen to me and buy my course on how to make money. And unless you have that, I will never ever grift. I promise. On God, for real, no cap, I swear on my life, I will never grift you. Ever. If I do, you can refer back to this clip. Okay, let's start Dragon's Dogma. Enough talking.